We live? Are we live? Yeah, they were live. Okay. What's up, everybody? This is McD the Beast, and this is McD Sports 4 coming to you today. Kind of just to talk about these afternoon games. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be bouncing out here in the next 20 minutes or so because I have to go get my dinner tonight. I'm getting Maryland style fried chicken at War Farms. If you're a Marylander, you better know what War Farms fried chicken is. But the title of this video is Florida State sucks, and oh boy, they do. James Blackman, let me tell you something. I feel bad for him because you can tell he's getting frustrated, and it's not completely his fault. The interception was his fault. I mean, Florida State's terrible. I rarely say this about a second-year head coach because usually I believe in giving a head coach 3 years before giving a whole assessment. Willie Taggart has to go. Willie Taggart has to go. I mean, it is bad in Tallahassee. I mean, garbage can program and then some. But I actually turned off the Florida State game because I want to watch some more competitive games. So Iowa State and West Virginia, they're tied at 14, so we'll have that on. I have the Alabama Texas A&M game on. Alabama has the ball up by 2 touchdowns with 9:14 left here in second 10. 27-13 is your score. With the swing pass first down. Or no, he's a yard short. A&M, they look. I'm going to be honest with you. Kellen Mond's just a game manager, and that's not good enough to be Alabama. But I also want to talk about some of the games that happened earlier today because I felt like I didn't really cover them too well because I was so disgusted with the Maryland loss, and then divert my attention to the South Carolina Georgia game, and that's what we're going to start off with, the South Carolina Georgia game. South Carolina got a big upset win on the road against Georgia, 20-17 in double overtime. Listen, South Carolina outplayed Georgia. That's what it comes down to. I mean, they basically won that game with a third-string quarterback playing game manager. That is embarrassing if you're Georgia. Georgia's number 1 in my poll. I'm telling you this right now. I know Ohio State's number 2 in my poll. Ohio State might get the number 1 spot in my poll this upcoming week, which will be released on Monday. So look out for that video here on Monday. But looking at the poll, we're going to see how much I'm probably going to drop Georgia right now. Just looking at the poll. Hold on. Yeah, but Georgia's going to get dropped a lot. Let's see. Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson are going to be put ahead of Georgia. Oklahoma is going to be put ahead of Georgia. Penn State and Wisconsin. We'll see how bad Wisconsin beats Michigan State. Penn State maybe. I don't think Penn State really has. I don't really think that Penn State really has a legit win. How far Texas will fall? They're number 11 in my poll. Auburn. Yeah, Auburn, Oregon, and Utah. I think and Boise State might all go ahead of Texas. I have to see how all the games look. I have to see what happens. But Texas is going to drop it. It wasn't a bad loss though. Oklahoma will go up in the polls. Georgia's going to drop a lot, by the way. They might still be in the top 10 depending on what happens with Florida and LSU. But and see what happens here with Alabama here in the second half. But they'll be ahead of Notre Dame because of the head-to-head, because Notre Dame's number 10 in my poll. But it might be, depending on what happens, they might be 8 or 9, Georgia. And they probably will end up being 8 and 9. That was a very disappointing loss for Georgia. Let's see. I have a Ryan Tannehill jersey on. As I said, I'm a Mariota person. I think Ryan Tannehill is a very good backup quarterback, but I only want to see Ryan Tannehill in there if Mariota is injured. Well, Temple Gannon after being Maryland a few weeks ago and beating Memphis today. The Memphis win was a good win. They were not in my poll, but I do call that a good win. I want to see what happens in the San Diego State-Wyoming game. I want to see if Wyoming can get the upset, which I pick. I want to see what else happens around the group of 5 today. But Temple, they should deserve some consideration. Appalachian State's another team to watch out for as well to possibly be in my top 25. all those weapons going to race. Are you talking about Georgia or the Titans, Captain Trips? But yeah, Memphis is a good team. They were number at 26. It came down between them and Baylor. I went with Baylor because they're a Power Five team, and I just think that with Memphis losing, I mean, you could consider Temple to be in the top 25, but I have to see what happens. Tons. I don't think we're wasting talent per se. I think part of the problem is the offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. I think he should be fired. I did a whole rant on that, but Arthur Smith, I personally think that's the problem. I don't think we should throw the season. We're 2-3. I expect us to beat the Broncos tomorrow. I'm going to look up some of these scores and see what's happening. I have Iowa State and West Virginia on one TV. That's tied at 14. And the Alabama game's on mute. That should be on volume. Let me turn that down. I had on loud. Alabama's still up 27-13. Tua throws the ball. Alabama's now going to be up by 3 touchdowns. Does Texas A&M get out of does Texas A&M get out if they lose today, in which they're losing 34-13? They were not in my poll. I actually dropped them after the Auburn loss. But yeah, they'll be out. I end up at 24. We suck, dude. We don't suck. We're just average. I think we're just an average team. I think part of the problem is offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. I think he needs to go now. Mariota is getting used in kind of the wrong way. I think Mariota all the time should be running his RPOs. That's all they should be running with Mariota, Derrick Henry, and that wide receiving crop. I wouldn't bench Mariota, and why would we get a high draft pick from? I don't think the Titans are that far away from being really good, like with the Patriots and Chiefs, like competing against them. I don't think we're that far away. Listen, good for Arthur Smith's dad. I don't care. I care about wins involving the Tennessee Titans, and he's holding us back. Yeah, but I don't think we're that far away. That's the thing. I think coaching's holding us back. Yeah, I don't like 0-2 in the AFC South. I think we will beat the Jaguars though in Tennessee, and I think we will split with the Texans. So we'll go 2-4. We'll see what happens. We have the Broncos this week. I think we'll beat them. We do face the NFC South. I think we will beat the Falcons personally. So that's another win right there. So that gets us to what? 6 wins. We'll find a way to win at least 2 other games. Yeah, I said we're going to split Houston. We're going to split with Houston. I think we will. I'm not completely sold on the Texans. Where's the score for the Iowa State and West Virginia game? Tied at 14. I have one right here. After 10-15 2.0. Let me see some of these scores. Oh yeah, we did already beat Atlanta. That is true. I forgot about that. I forgot that win. That's my fault. I think we'll split between the Bucks and the Panthers, though. I think we'll split between them, and we'll see who else is on the schedule for us. Let's see, where are we? Let's see. We beat the Browns. We lost to the Colts. Lost to the Jaguars. Beat the Falcons. Lost to the Bills. I think we beat the Broncos. The Chargers game could be a win. I do think that. I know we struggle against them usually, but the way the Chargers are looking, that could be a win. The Bucks could be a win. We could pull off 3 in a row, possibly 4 in a row. I don't think we beat Carolina on the road though. So that'll get us to what 5-4. And then Chiefs at home, we'll lose as a 5-5. Jaguars 6-5. Colts on the road 6-6. I think we lose to the Raiders on the road 6-7. We'll beat the Texans 7-7. Saints games up in the air, and Texans on the road. So I think if everything goes 7-9, I think it will be better than that though. I think we're going to get upset a team or two because that's the times they're weird. That accident called them San Diego. Man. LA LA Chargers, not San Diego Chargers. Tying up absolutely. I only root for three teams in the NFL: Falcons, Eagles, and Texans. And Saturday, my favorite is the worst. But personally, I think Titans went close to one tomorrow, 24-21. Yeah, I think it's going to be close and low scoring. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I was a little bit confused on number one pick will be playing versus San Diego. Yeah, we'll get him back. He's very good. He was good at Mississippi State when healthy. Maybe he'll get add some flame on the edge rush. But I want to talk about college football mainly today because it is Saturday. But I do think the Titans win tomorrow. Kellen Mond, good pass by Kellen Mond there. The Chippewas are beating the Aggies 34-21. The Central Michigan Chippewas against New Mexico State 34-21. Wisconsin, they're up 24-0 in the fourth quarter. I wish I could get this Washington State Arizona State game. I can't, but that game's tied at 24. Cincinnati, they're up 21-17. BYU, they're up 23-14. South Florida's a bad team, by the way. Kent State, they're up against Akron 20-3. Northern Illinois, they're up on Ohio 22-21. Let's go, Ohio! I pick Ohio for the lock. Oh, no. There's a flag, but A&M just turned it over. This game gets to 41-14. I might just bail out and get my dinner. Because the game started at, what, 7:30 that I want to watch? So I have to at least give myself, like, 40 minutes because the closest War Farms, it's a good 20-minute drive. Cat Trips, I personally think Mario is good enough. And is coming back the turnover because Alabama held rather. There was a holding call in Alabama. I believe in Mariota. I think he's a good enough quarterback. I've seen it before. I think he's good enough. Mariota is gutsy though Captain Trips. He's gutsy. He's a gamer. He's a baller. I mean, you cannot sit there and tell me that you were impressed by the Chiefs playoff win when he put the team on his back down 21-0. I don't want to. Well, I can't say I don't want to because that would be insane. But Tua is basically Mariota in my opinion. Injury prone. I don't think he's stable enough. There's no interference on that. See what else is going on here. Tulane, they're up 41-0. Keep an eye on Tulane. That could be a team in the top 25. Texas Tech, they're up 13-10 on Baylor. Nevada, they're up 31-16. Vandy's losing to UNLV midway through the third quarter, 24-10. UNLV is bad. Virginia Tech is having trouble being an FCS opponent. What's new? Middle Tennessee, they're up on FAU 13-12. I pick FAU win and cover there, I think. FAU to only win by touchdown, not to cover. Georgia State, they're up on Coastal Carolina 10-6. Oh, okay. Central Michigan just scored a touchdown. Wisconsin just scored a touchdown as well. Yeah, keep an eye on Tulane though. I do think A&M has a defense for after 10-15. I do. I think the problem is the offense. I watch four Texas A&M games now, and the problem is the offense, not the defense. Alabama just has a good offense. Touchdown Iowa State. It's going to be 21-14 pending the extra point. Which here I have a question for the people in the chat. They have I was watching the Alabama A&M game during halftime, and there's a decision to be made. Which game would you rather see on CBS? Would you rather see LSU Mississippi State or Florida South Carolina? Type 1 for the first game I said Mississippi State versus LSU, and 2 for the second game I said Florida versus South Carolina. And by the way, A&M just scored a touchdown. I'm a Gator Titan fan. You rather see Florida? Yeah, I would rather see Florida and Carolina on CBS as well. I think well, I know why you're saying that, Captain, just because you're a Gators fan. Which by the way, Gators, how confident are you in your Florida Gators tonight? Watch this replay. That was a good play there by A&M. They're down by 2 touchdowns. How confident are you in your Gators tonight? Cincinnati just scored a touchdown. A 2? Are you doing that like it would be the best defense that LSU has faced? Listen, if you watch my prediction video, I think you guys will cover, but I just think you guys are going to come up a bit short, 31-21. But I think you guys are going to play well. Some people think that you guys are going to lose by a lot, especially coming off a big win last week against Auburn. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you guys will play a good game, but I think LSU maybe runs away with it a bit late, and you guys lose 31-21. South Carolina had an upset, and Florida is good, but I think whoever wins tonight versus Florida and LSU will be in the game, man. Will be the game, man, broadcast. I think it's going to be Florida, South Carolina, because Mississippi State's bad. I mean, they just lost to Tennessee and didn't even look like they could be on the same field as Auburn. So I do think it has to be that Florida, South Carolina game. You have LSU 28-23 right after 10-15. That's a good score prediction. I personally think that is. I mean, it could be 28-23. I think it's going to be a close game. I can't wait for it. We'll see what happens. I'll be eating fried chicken while it's happening, but it should be a good game. LSU receivers versus defensive backs. You. Yeah, I mean that is true. That is the argument. Which defensive back you, Florida or LSU? And that is the argument. I'm surprised that game isn't on CBS or ABC. Yeah, I did mention that. I think LSU won the night game though. I think that's part of the reason. But this isn't a bad substitute right here. Like A&M can hang with Alabama, I think, for about 3 quarters. But I'm going to bail out here in the next 10 minutes because I want to get back at least before the Notre Dame USC game and the Penn State Iowa game. Do you think that Georgia's still going to win the East? I think so. I do think so. I think Georgia could lose to Auburn and have 2 losses going into the championship, but I still think Georgia's going to beat Florida. I just have a strong feeling right now. And they should boat race Missouri. They should boat race Kentucky next week. Who else do they have to face? I forget who else they have to face. But I think Georgia will go 10-2 now. I do think they will lose to Auburn, if not Florida, though. But Georgia will lose another game in the SEC. Because Kirby Smart is gonna cost them. No, for CBS they could have both like they did when Georgia played. They only do that once a year. The reason why I know this is because I was actually doing some research for videos in 2020. Enjoy fried chicken. Thanks, sir. Maryland style fried chicken, the best fried chicken ever. A&M, that's the other. I knew they had another SEC game. They should be A&M. It'll probably be something similar to Alabama A&M right now. Probably a 2-touchdown win for them. And they also have to play Georgia Tech, but Georgia will be Georgia Tech with the second stringers personally. But this was a very disappointing loss for Georgia. I hope this is a wake-up call for Kirby because he got lucky in the Notre Dame game being conservative, and today he looked like an idiot. So, trap game, UGA, Little Sister, Florida. Dartina. Dennis Wilson, what up, sir? I don't know exactly what you mean by trap game. I know Georgia, they get Kentucky next week, so I wouldn't call this one a trap game per se. I think this was just a straight up upset. Um, but I think personally, Georgia will rebound next week against Kentucky. Let's see. It's going to be 3rd and 1 for Alabama. Let's see what's happening in the Iowa State West Virginia game. West Virginia has a big 3rd and 5 right here, and they dropped it. That you got to catch that. Trap upset. Georgia did get upset. Biggest upset of the year, I think, 24.5 points. Or maybe the Georgia State-Tennessee game is still the biggest one. So maybe that one's one, and the one today is 2. The U defense, yeah, Miami. They do have a legit defense. Alabama just got the first down, 3 yards, first down there. I'm gonna get on out of here in a few minutes. To go get the fried chicken. Hopefully, I don't get blinded by the sun on the way out there. Sunsets in the west. That's the direction I have to head it to. The rest. PJ will probably choke on more fried chicken bones next week. I don't think they're losing to Kentucky. It's in Sanford Stadium. I don't think they're losing to Kentucky. I think Kentucky's offense is so bad that I think some of these better Group of 5 teams can beat them. Kentucky will beat Vandy, though, because Vandy's god-awful. But I think Tennessee could go ahead up to Kentucky and beat them personally. That offense is very bad for Kentucky. And are they playing right now against Arkansas, or is that a night game? I think that's a night game. Let's see. They should be Arkansas tonight, though, but you never know. Yeah, play Arkansas. Both teams winless in the SEC. I like Bryce Perkins. I don't care what the hell happened yesterday. I like Bryce Perkins. You disappoint me, man, you're not going to a bowl game. Sorry, you don't deserve it. 5-7, here we come, Terps. I still think 6-6 is a possibility, maybe even 7-5. But we have to beat Indiana next week. That statement will be true though if you can't beat Indiana next week. Indiana's now a must-win. But we're 3-3, so that's better than some teams that some people think are still going to make bowl games. But if we miss a bowl game this year, I have to call it a disappointing season. But I'll still be here. I went through the schedule, Eli, in my rant. Basically, I said Indiana next week we should beat them 4-3. Minnesota, I'm gonna call that a toss up. Minnesota is a team in my opinion, and I know the Minnesota fan is not gonna like this because there are Minnesota fans that watch this channel, and they're not gonna like what I'm gonna say. I'm not sold on them at all. I think they're overrated as hell. That could be a win. If we win that, that's 5-3. We'll see what happens against Michigan. I'm not sold on Michigan. I think they will be banged up and going into a game. So let's say we beat Michigan 6-3. That's 6 wins right there. And we could beat Nebraska. If we don't beat Michigan, that's 6 wins. I think if we beat Indiana, that'll get us to 4-3. I think Minnesota and Nebraska are the two games to look at, and maybe an upset against Michigan or even Michigan State. Even though I highly doubt the Michigan State one, for some reason we just can't beat them. But I still like us to at least go 6-6 at this point. Oklahoma would beat UGA if the playoffs start today. Georgia would be beat by Alabama. They will be beat by LSU. They will be beat by Oklahoma. They will be beat by Clemson, Ohio State, Wisconsin, maybe Penn State, maybe even the Oregon. So that's what, 8 teams right there. Which one of these teams are the best? Vandy, Illinois, Indiana, BYU, UCLA. I'm gonna go with BYU there. BYU, they got a win against Tennessee. They beat USC, so give me BYU there. LSU Eagles, Paper Tigers. Say it. It's not because you lost to Purdue. It's how you lost. They look like they don't even belong in St. Petersburg makers. Discipline. That's the number one thing I want to rant on. Discipline. That's the one thing I want to rant on. Discipline. I think if we were more disciplined, we could have had a chance in that game. There's no way Purdue's 40-14 better than us. BY who? UCLA, Indiana, Illinois, and Vandy are trash. Vandy's losing to UNLV. Indiana, they beat Rutgers, but I think they're going to lose next week. UCLA is god awful. Illinois, they lost to Eastern Michigan, but they did look good against Nebraska. They looked good against Minnesota until the quarterback got injured for them, and they got that game to 28-25 today against Michigan. And by the way, I didn't pick the game. I said that Michigan would not cover. Looks like I was right again. Purdue could be contenders in the Big Ten. They're not going to be contenders. They're too banged up. If they're top, okay. If the top players weren't injured, I agree with you, but they're not. Have trust, better hope. Little sister Flora gets that Valerie alive. They might not even make a bowl game now. Georgia's making a bowl game. Georgia's making a bowl game. Yeah, Georgia's making a bowl game. That's ludicrous, Eli. Oh, Mississippi State. We'll see. We'll see. JT Sports is up, buddy. FSU is better than Maryland. Let's see. FSU, talent-wise, is better. Coaching-wise, I mean, FSU and Maryland are similar. They show up one game, and then they just absolutely shit the bed the other game. You can't tell me Maryland's that worse than Purdue. You can't tell me Purdue's 40-14 better than Maryland. FSU, I look at them. I mean, they haven't really blown out anybody. Maryland has blown out teams this year, so I kind of have to disagree with you there. But talent-wise, I do agree with you. Mississippi State is a toss-up. Mississippi State, they do have Ole Miss. That could be a loss. Have they played Arkansas yet? That might be a loss as well. Yeah, Mississippi State, I don't think will make a bowl game. What's the Puppy Child bowl game? I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to you guys' conversation. Florida State would probably lose to Vandy. Depends what Florida State team we see. Florida State, let's pull their resume up. I know they did beat NC State kind of convincingly. So they do have that. But I'm gonna wrap this up here within the next few minutes, actually. So if you have any questions for me, say them now. I might go live again around 9-10 o'clock. Talk about some of these games. Yeah, I'm gonna say Maryland's better. I think we have more convincing wins. See you after 10:15. I'll be back live around 10 o'clock. But I'm about to end this as well. Any last questions from anybody here? If you remember wins, then we can laugh at the Commodores. That is true. That's more embarrassing. Tennessee losing Georgia State, Arkansas losing San Jose State. I'm still going to say Tennessee losing to Georgia State is the most embarrassing. Thanks, Captain Trips. FAU, a Pop Warner team. Today they look like a Pop Warner team, but I'm going to wrap this up. I got to go get my fried chicken. Georgia State's better than UNLV. We'll see. I'm not going to take time to look at the resumes, but we'll see what happens down the stretch here. But I'm going to wrap the stream up. I got to go get my fried chicken. I'll be back around 10 o'clock to go ahead and talk about what's happening with the night games. But thanks for watching the stream. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Greatly appreciate if you do that. Thanks for watching. This is McGee the Beast here signing off.